On June 7th, 2022, Winota and Expressive Iteration were officially banned in Pioneer. This happened 2 days after we recorded a Pioneer tournament that took place at Mavericks in Mason, Ohio. Luckily, the deck we have in this episode was unaffected by the banning announcement. Let's check it out.
Basically, it's a tournament where all the best players in the world from different countries and everything come in the same room and play the game that we all love.
I am Jace Ballou.
And I am Stoneforge Mystic.
It's just a really amazing game.
It's just mind-boggling to even think about. I guess the rest is history.
Pioneer I like the most because it's not as quick as Modern. You don't have the fetch lands, you don't have free spells, but it's not as slow as Standard and it doesn't rotate like Standard, so I'm just enjoying it more than either of those two formats. 8-Rack is a deck from Modern where you could play a card The Rack and Shrieking Affliction. Shrieking Affliction's legal in Pioneer, and we use another card called Davriel that has a similar effect to Shrieking Affliction, but it's a Planeswalker and it can make your opponent discard cards. It benefits off making your opponents discard cards, and then you take damage, the opponent takes damage based on having one or less cards in their hand. So the whole deck is just very value cards. On the discard side, you take Waste Knots and get value from discarding those cards. It's just a whole discard engine, basically. Black is my favorite color in Magic, and I like sort of more mid-rangey to control decks, and it seems like the most fun deck to me in the format, even though it's not necessarily a tier 1 deck. It's the most fun I had. I've tried Zombies, which is way too aggro for me, but I like to be able to slow the pace of the game and try and control the game. So it's mostly mono black with 1 waste, and then you run 4 Fabled Passages to get the waste if you need it, and then the rest are lands that generate either black and colorless or just black. You run Mutavaults, and the desert that taps for black pings you 1, and then the also taps for colorless. The colorless is to pay for the Reality Smasher. So I run 4 Reality Smashers, I run 2 Rankles, and I run 4 of the 2 mana cost rat that makes you discard, I forget its name. And that's the only creatures in the deck besides Waste Not, which makes creatures. The non-creature cards, it's Unburden. It's really good because it discards 2, so you're +1 on that, but you could also cycle it late game if they have an empty hand already. You run 4 Thoughtseizes, you run 2 Collective Brutalities, 4 Davriels, 4 Shrieking Afflictions, 3 Waste Knots, a lot of just discarding and then value from discarding cards. My favorite card in the deck, probably Waste Not. I've liked it since it came out. I played Mono Black Devotion when it came out, so I always wanted to build like another competitive deck that has Waste Not in it. Waste Not is a 2 mana instant, 1 and a black, and when an opponent discards a creature, it makes a 2/2. When they discard a land, you add 2 black to your mana pool, and when they discard any other card, you draw a card. So it just gets creatures on the field, draws you cards. It's really good. In my sideboard, I have Dampening Spear, some Languishes, some Ashioks, just typical ones. The only like spicy card in my sideboard is like Infinite Obliteration, which you name a creature and then you exile all of that creature from their hand, graveyard, and library. So it destroys a lot of the decks in the format that are based around 1 creature like Reese Fang. Probably its best matchup is Lotus Field or any other combo deck, because they struggle to keep any of their combo pieces or their payoffs in their hand, because ideally they only have 1 or 0 cards in their hand at all time. So that's easily probably the best matchup. To me, it's just a very fun deck to play, and I think it benefits a lot from no one is sideboarding against it right now, at least. It's like a controlling mid-range deck, so if you really like black as a color and what black does, it's probably the best mono black deck right now.
That's all we have for this episode. we'd like to thank Ezra for giving us the time to share his deck. This is actually the last deck we have to show from the Mavericks Cup tournaments. However, we'll return soon with more episodes, so please come back for more Inside the Deck. Thanks for watching.